Alright everybody, we are talking about Guan Yu today and whether or not he is a commander that should be invested into in 2024. And this is a commander that, I have been kind of going back and forth between. I made some videos about how good Guan Yu is. I made other videos warning certain people not to invest into Guan Yu. So today we are doing a full video on Guan Yu, very, very highly requested, to talk about whether or not he is actually worth investing into and what kind of players should still consider using Guan Yu in 2024. If you guys are new here, this is Gainz Gaming. We make Rise of Kingdoms content, so make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content like this. So with Guan Yu, obviously he's an infantry commander, and obviously he is an older commander as well. I unlocked him in 2021, and I believe he came out well before then. He is one of the oldest commanders in Season of Conquest, but Guan Yu, like I said, he's old. He is well overdue to be replaced, in my opinion, and he really only has one thing that not many other commanders have that keeps him relevant, and that is his silence. That is the biggest thing with Guan Yu, is his ability to silence the enemy. Other than that, his kit is not that outstanding, but we will dive into it. So his first skill, Saint of War, is his active skill. He does have AoE, which is awesome. He deals direct damage up to 3 enemy troops in a fan of 2000 damage factor. You need to have him as primary. You can't have him as secondary, otherwise you cut his damage in half. So definitely do not use Guan Yu secondary. I remember there was a time where I was running Alex Guan Yu because I didn't read skills at all. This is before I really knew how to play. And then someone messaged me, literally an enemy messaged me. They're like, "Did you know that you have Guan Yu secondary?" And I responded, I was like, "Yeah, I mean, my March is trading really well. I'll just keep it like this." And they sent a picture of Guan Yu's skill, like just sent this picture right here, and was like, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but you should have Guan as primary. And I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to start reading these things because I did not realize that. So don't make that same mistake that I did, but you do cut your damage in half if you have him as secondary, so you need him primary. And obviously, when you do hit more than one troop, you do reduce your damage by 15%. But all troops hit by the skill are silenced for 3 seconds, which is crazy, crazy powerful, being able to silence your enemy for 3 seconds. Like, people don't realize how good that skill is. Now his second skill, if this commander's troop is attacking a city or stronghold, troop deals 15% more normal damage, and whenever the troop launches a basic attack, has a 10% chance to reduce the target's attack by 30% for 3 seconds. It's kind of interesting how Guan was actually supposed to be a rallying commander for this skill, which is just crazy to me. Obviously, you can still swarm, and you'll still do decent, being able to silence as well, because his first skill will. I don't know if it actually will silence. I'd have to look into that. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments below if it's only troops on the field, because it doesn't really explicitly say troops on the field, but it says troops, so that might not include strongholds, but we'll have to figure that out. So his second skill is pretty irrelevant unless you're swarming. And then his third skill. This commander's infantry units gain 30% attack and 15% march speed, which is awesome. You need that march speed. And whenever the troop exits combat, it recovers a portion of its slightly wounded units, healing factor of 1000. So you do have some extra sustain with Guan Yu, which people wonder why when they use Guan, like, why do I get so many 7 wounds? It's because you're healing the entire time. You're going to stay in the field longer, which is good. You want to stay in the field longer, but you're also going to have more 7 wounds for that same exact reason, because he's constantly healing himself. Because when you kill an enemy, you're basically leaving combat, and then you're going to heal, and then go back into combat. Then his fourth skill. If the Saint of War skill hits exactly one target, has a 50% chance to deal extra direct damage, damage factor 1000 to the target. If the skill hits 2 or more targets, it has a 50% chance to deal extra direct damage, damage factor 1400 to the current target of this commander's troops. Now, people don't realize how strong this skill is as well. Because what this is saying is if you're basically dueling, if you have a 1v1 situation with Guan and then one other commander, you have a 50-50 chance of dealing extra damage of 1000. If you are hitting 2 or more people, so basically if you're in the open field in a murder ball situation, you have a 50% chance to deal extra 1400 damage factor to your one target. Not AoE, just to the one target you're hitting, which is still really good. So people don't realize how good his 4th skill is as well. And as you can see, I don't have him expertised. because I got him to 5'2", 4'5". I was trying to get him 5'1", 5'5", because that's kind of like the lowest cost of entry for Guan is a 5'1", 5'5", but I used like 8 skill resets and I wasn't able to get it. This is the closest I got, and I was like, I am good with that. I'm not messing with it again. I don't want to put more sculptures into him because an extra 50 sculptures, I don't think that's worth an extra 5% attack, 3% march speed, and 200 healing. I just don't think that's worth it. But his expertise. After receiving a shield, this commander's troop deals 15% more skill damage for 3 seconds, cooldown of 5 seconds. And then after leaving a building or resource point, troop gains 100% march speed for 3 seconds. So this is a skill I wish I unlocked, but at this point in time, I don't think it's worth maxing him out because that's going to be like an extra 300 sculptures for me. So it's like, I'm not going to do that. That's just way too many sculptures for that little amount of bonus. Especially from a commander like Guan Yu that you don't really expect to get loads and loads of kills and loads and loads of kill points. You just don't really expect that from Guan because he's there to silence for your other troops. He's there to silence the enemies, to help your allies out, and to help your other marches out. He's kind of like a higher damage Trajan where you don't expect it to trade very well, but you want it to trade at least positive or slightly positive. You don't want to trade negative with it, but you also want to make sure that you're realistic with what you're using Guan on the field for, because you're not using him like you're using Nevsky, or you're not using him like Lu Che, where you're just trying to get tons and tons of kill points, because that's not what he's there for. He's not doing a ton of damage. He's doing decent damage, but not doing a ton of damage. He's there to silence the enemy, and at the end of the day, that's what you're using Guan for. So now the question is, do you invest into Guan in 2024? And I think this is highly dependent on what kind of player you are. If you are an open field fighter and you only run 1 infantry march, I think your 1 infantry march is going to be Lu Che and Scipio. Well, particularly Scipio and Lu Che. Scipio primary, Lu Che secondary. And I also just realized I had taken the gear off my Guan. I got to put that back on there. This new system is so nice that you're able to do this. This makes it so much easier because you're still able to move it back and forth. I'm so glad I made that video. I don't know if I had anything to do with them fixing this, but after I made that video of like, this needs to be fixed, it got fixed like a month later. So I'm super, super glad that they got that fixed for us because this makes it so much easier. But for Guan Yu, I mean, like I said, if you're running 1 infantry march, Guan Yu is not in that infantry march. If you're running 2 infantry marches in the open field, Guan Yu is most certainly in that 2 pair, because if you're running 2 pairs, you are running Guan Yu and Scipio Prime, and then you're probably running Lu Che and Gorgo or Lu Che and Alex. Those are really your 2 pairings right now until we get more infantry in the game, because I just think that's the best option you have available currently. Personally, I run 2 infantry marches and Guan Yu is still in there, and I think I'll replace Alexander the Great before I replace Guan Yu. I just don't think that Guan Yu is replaceable for me right now because I do run 2 infantry marches, but the vast majority of players are not running 2 inf marches. So you have to be realistic with yourself. And if you're not in that category where it's like, okay, well, I'm only going to run 1 infantry march, you got to go for the Gusto and you got to go for the Scipio and Lu Che. It's going to trade so much better. You're going to not regret it whatsoever. Best march in the game right now, in my opinion, is Scipio and Lu Che. So I think you have to go for that. And I think at that point, then you skip Guan Yu. But if you have Guan Yu invested into and you have him close to 5'1", 5'5", or even have him expertised, I think he's still 100% usable. And I think you should be using him if you're in that category. But if you are not a person that's going to use 2 or 3 infantry marches, I don't think Guan Yu, if you're like just entering Season of Conquest, I don't think you use him because I don't think he's going to bring you a lot of value if he's going to be sitting on your bench the whole time, So unless you're a spender and you want to get the extra bundle for unlocking a commander, go for it. But don't invest sculptures into Guan Yu if you are not running at least 2 infantry marches in the open field. Let me know what you guys think down below, what you guys think about Guan Yu and whether or not you should invest into him for a 1 march infantry march, because that's kind of where I draw the line, where it's like, if you're only running 1, I don't think Guan Yu is in that march. But let me know what you guys think down below. I'm curious to see what you guys all think about Guan Yu. Looking forward to hearing what you guys think, but thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you guys later.